Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a guest for you tonight, great guest Jeff Eichen, the producer of Lifers, the movie. Talks about people in prison on life without the possibility of parole sentences. He actually has gone into some of these prisons and interviewed these people and helped some of them get released after 20 plus years. So stay tuned for more of that. We also have a little clip from the movie I'm an associate producer and a minor actor in, The Green Goddess. But first, we'll have our hemp news immediately following the infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
Okay, we just have a couple of federal stories here tonight. For the first time in history, the President of the United States used part of his State of the Union address to promote marijuana reform, touting the mass pardons he's issued, affirming his position that nobody should be incarcerated over possession, and noting the review into cannabis's scheduling status that he initiated. In fact, I received 2 pardons from President Biden last year for simple possession of marijuana. Once in the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C., once in my home here in Portland. But those are other stories. In Biden's last State of the Union, ahead of his fight for re-election this year, President Joe Biden noted his move directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of marijuana. In an apparent reference to his mass cannabis pardon proclamation, Biden claimed it expunged thousands of convictions for the mere possession of cannabis. Me too. The president's routinely promoted the thousands of pardons he's granted through a pair of proclamations in 2002 and 2003 in various speeches, but raising the issue during the primetime annual State of the Union address carries substantially greater weight. And as advocates have repeatedly pointed out, pardons for simple possession did not release anybody from federal prison. Thousands also remain incarcerated for nonviolent marijuana offenses that weren't covered under the clemency action. But in front of the country last week, the president made a point to highlight the action, which is politically meaningful, especially ahead of the November election. It reflects a recognition of the popularity of cannabis reform from the White House at a critical time. From the United States Congress, a coalition of 36 members of Congress are calling on President Joe Biden to grant clemency to all Americans currently in federal prison over nonviolent cannabis convictions by commuting their sentences, pointing out that the pardons he has issued to date for simple possession cases did not release a single person from incarceration. Lawmakers also shared anecdotes about 2 specific people who remain incarcerated over nonviolent federal cannabis convictions for distribution. Jerry Heyman, an aspiring athlete, and Danny Trevino, who is operating a state legal dispensary in Michigan. Congressman Blumenauer of Oregon and Barbara Lee, California, have also advocated for an administrative descheduling of cannabis under the President's review directive, imploring the Drug Administration, or DEA, to go further than the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Schedule 3 reclassification recommendation, instead by fully removing it from the Controlled Substances Act altogether. In a letter sent to the President on Thursday last week, led by Congressional Cannabis Caucus chairs Barbara Lee of California and Earl Blumenauer, the members said that the continued incarceration of these individuals continues the racist legacy of the war on drugs, contradicts the current societal and legal trends regarding marijuana, and represents an unnecessary burden on our morals and justice system, end quote. Well, that's the end of our hemp news segment tonight. If you are a loved one, are looking for help finding a doctor who can help you get a medical marijuana permit. We have referrals all over the country. Just call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. Keep working to restore hemp. Good night. I'd like to welcome Jeff Eichen back to Cannabis Common Sense. Jeff's been on a number of times over the years with Smokeahonis once, and you are the producer of Lifers, the movie. Tell us about your movie.
Hello, everybody, and good morning. And hey, Portland PDX, thank you for all you do in the medical world for cannabis and for helping to end prohibition. Lifers, the movie, was a project I did in 2015 when I got into prison and I filmed Jeff Mazansky, a 420 POW. And everybody says, what's a 420 POW? That's somebody in jail for the war on people, the war on drugs. And Jeff was in jail for 21 years, everybody, without his children, for 2 grams. 2 grams is less than, than a joint. And Tommy Chong's in my movie. And Tommy also said to the government, you put the pot in the pot, the pot is already in the pipe, you can't take it out. So for a beautiful plant, nobody should be in jail. And that's what I'm dedicating the rest of my life for. We have Freedom Grow right here. They're aligning with me on a project that I'll tell you about shortly. But my movie experience was interviewing people at DPA, Drug Policy Alliance, and meeting people like Dorothy McGaines, who was in jail, and she's now in a wheelchair, and we raised money for them. And so all of the Reform Highway people that are the Last Prisoner Project, the Can Do Clemency with Amy Pova, and the Freedom Grow people are raising money for these people that were taken out of commission for 30 years, some of them, for a plant, for marijuana. And so it's our duty, and our karma is not clean until we get all the prisoners home, because we're smoking and we're making a lot of money here with legal marijuana, and our prisoners are still in jail. But we do have a little bit of light after we heard Biden and Kamala talk this week. So just pray tuned, everybody. We're going to do this.
Well, we have a clip. First we have a trailer from your movie. So
Sure.
do you want to do an introduction to the trailer?
This trailer shows some interviews along my highway about me going to, like I said, the Drug Policy Alliance and other expos. There's so many expos these days, we're getting expo fatigue. But when I used to go to expos, now that I'm doing my own show now, getting ready to, I would interview people incessantly and ask them what their take is and how they want to support their brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers in jail for marijuana.
All right, here's the trailer to Lifers, the movie.
This is Tommy Chong for Lifers, the movie.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for coming today. Thank you for giving people like me a voice. This is Kirsten for Lifers, the movie. Free the people, free the plant.
The first thing we advocate for, number one, you just got to just stop the war on drugs. Just stop fighting it, end prohibition.
Should be locked up. Give them probation, community service.
The end destination is not reform, but it is really transformation.
Yes.
And that transformation means that we create a new kind of world in which the racialized hierarchy, the ways in which capital is used to disempower people as opposed to providing people with the quality of life that we all deserve, has got to be the end destination.
Certainly, I'll never be the same again. You know, it's hard for me to relate to any normalcy, but as a man, you know, I won't let you see that.
Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency.
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 Thank you, Mr. President, for clemency. Spending this time in prison means getting that done, and then it'll all be worth it.
Hey, this is Tommy Chong for Lifers Madness.
There's something happening here.
That is an interesting movie. Where can people see the movie?
Well, my movie lives on YouTube. I don't have that identical link, but you can get it through lifersthemovie.com. And that's my main site for my movie. And you scroll down and the link will be right there and you can watch the full movie.
Well, we have another little excerpt here, a few minutes of an interview that you did in prison. So let's go ahead and run that now.
Okay. And I would like to say also, before you run this piece, is that I'm probably one of the only people that have been in prison to film and to talk to prisoners. I talked to Michael Thompson, who is out, thank the Lord, and Jeff Mazansky, who is out. We got 350,000 or more signatures in Missouri for him, and Governor Nixon let him out. So it does work, everybody. Use your voice and vote.
When we were fighting for our independence, what were we fighting for? And the right to have freedom.
Right.
Do we really have it now? I don't think so. We have some freedoms. We're losing a lot of them, but for something that's not hurting people, they're taking away and locking you up.
Right.
What kind of freedom is that? Because, and I'll tell you why they're locking you up, because somebody decided that bought a lot of trees that they wanted to make paper products out of it, and they had the money, big business, to pay the right people to get it made illegal.
This is during the William Randolph Hearst time.
Amen. That's right. So, you know, I've been trying to learn all the facts I can about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come a long way from where I was. But
do you know they're making a hemp car now? They can make hemp plastic.
I seen that on the news.
And the hemp car is cool.
I about fell out of our bunk when I was walked in. I said I couldn't believe that. That's great. So why are we paying farmers now to leave their fields unplanted when we could be planting hemp in there, using it and developing a whole big industry instead of importing it from China?
Right.
Okay, well, that was a good interview. Thank you for going into the belly of the beast and doing that. So how has the movie been going? So people can watch this by going to lifersthemovie.com. How has your reception been?
Well, we've been in many festivals, many cannabis film festivals. The one in Colorado had me there many years ago, and they do a great film festival every year. I've been a judge on their panel, and they've shown my movie twice in the years there. And I've taken it to other expos, DPA. I took it to, let's see, what was the one in Canada? Anyways, it's been in many festivals where in a festival evening, we may do, like at Hemp Fest, we did a green carpet where I rolled out AstroTurf and then we interviewed people on the carpet. And we're planning to do another green carpet in Colorado at NOCO 10 with Morris Beagle. And the famous Morris Beagle has done 10 hemp expos. And so we're planning to do that and then going to Emerald Cup in August to do a green carpet. And we're going to show Paul's film. We're going to show your film also, Green Goddess. We're going to tag and have a double feature. So roll two big fatties, one for each movie. And I just am blessed to be able to get more people in one room than just telling somebody about it. I think film is food, everybody. I'm a filmmaker and a photographer from way back, and I think we can reach more people through film. You know, my girlfriend saw Dune last night. She said it was so violent, and we don't need violence anymore. So Hollywood, get to it. Support my next film, The Cannabis.
So you're planning on doing another one about mothers?
The Cannabis. I want to do a movie on the Cannabis.
I see.
So that's up your alley. That's medicine for the children.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we do here. If somebody is looking for a doctor to help them, that's what we do. But so what is the Relief Project? I know this is something coming up. I saw, what's your next project here too?
The Relief Project here is we're having a mixer this week, actually, on Saturday. And Dina and Tosh are flying in from Las Vegas. That's my web designer, Dina's husband, Tosh. And Dina is my financial CEO, and she's looking after us. So we put the money in the right place. We're raising $10,000 this weekend to begin our push and to pay our employees and get we're doing a 3 to 4 countdown events up to 4/20 of 2025 with Snoop and Willie, which we don't have Snoop and Willie yet. I don't ever do white lies or green lies, but the idea is that we're inviting Snoop and Willie to do a concert at Oakland Coliseum with all the prisoners coming in the Oregon Country Fair Dragon and coming on stage, and we honor the prisoners. And the money from that portion of that will go directly to their commissary and to the prisoner project. And Relief is at www.relieffoundation with 2 Fs.org, and that tells you everything you need to know about my upcoming 420 highway, about ending prohibition and helping the prisoners get restitution for all the years they were taken off of the workforce, and that we can help pay them back and their families.
I see. So tell us more about that project. How you're planning on implementing that?
Well, Tommy Chong is coming to Mukilteo here at 420, and so we're going to go see Tommy, and Tommy's going to give us a PSA. He's going to say, "Hey, this is Tommy for Relief," and so we're going to use all of our magic and all of our social media muscle this lifetime to get the word out, to raise awareness that there are still people. You can see my shirt from Freedom Grow. There are still people in jail, everybody, in prison for a plant, for marijuana, for cannabis. And Dr. Machulam's gone. Jack is gone. Jack Harrer, like terror, everybody. And so don't forget, it's like Jack Harrer. And so it's us. We're here. We're left to do the work to help to end prohibition, because marijuana is paper, fiber, fuel, medicine, food, and now plastic and hempcrete to build homes. Why cut a tree down for building your house, your next house?
Yeah, yeah. There's all sorts of new products. We covered a new hemp graphene battery that's being a factory being built where an Energizer battery factory just closed in Portage, Wisconsin. So, and then there's a new paper bags made out of 100% hemp that I just saw in the market yesterday. It's amazing the variety of products that are coming out. Of course, food products lead the way with food products on the shelves in most grocery stores.
Wait, do you remember this?
I can't quote. Is that hemp paper?
That's yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I imported hemp paper from 1988 through 1997. So it's one of the grandfathers of the modern hemp movement. Yeah.
I mean, why aren't we wiping our butts with hemp toilet paper?
There's some places that are starting to, and so
You know?
and
there's
there's
Jeff Mazansky in jail. That's a shot I took of him in jail holding the weed National Geographic. I mean, can you believe in our lifetime, everybody, that we've gotten on Time Magazine and National Geographic, where once we had to be in the garage hiding it from our parents?
right. And so Jeff was in prison for over 20 years for 2 grams, you say?
2.5 grams in an envelope. His third strike.
It was a Missouri mandatory minimum third strike law.
Right, and that's why one of the reasons why this is our new peace sign, everybody. It's weed. You know, I normally say 3 is weed, 2 is peace, and F Schedule 1. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, pretty cute.
Hey. Yeah, I'm really blessed to wake up every day and see somebody new come home for compassionate release, and you know, and next we have to help Leonard Peltier come home. You know, he's 87 years old, been in jail for 40 years now. 39 was last year. Now he's been in jail for 40 years. So my heart and my learning on how to assist the Prisoner Free Project and bringing the Freedom Grow you know, paradigm to light is now going to cross over and help Leonard Peltier come home.
Yeah, for our viewers who don't know, Leonard Peltier was an activist with the American Indian movement at Wounded Knee back in the 1970s, where one activist there at the Pine Ridge Reservation was killed and 2 FBI agents were killed. And they charged 3 people with that murder. 2 of them were acquitted in a separate trial in Iowa. And then the third person, Leonard Peltier, was brought back from Canada and convicted basically without evidence in South Dakota, and he's been in prison ever since. But 2 of the people were acquitted. One of them lives here in Oregon.
So we claim that that's a Jim Crow story.
Yeah, it is. Well, it happened at Pine Ridge. Of course, there was a huge massacre of women and children at Pine Ridge back in the 1890s as well. So the Trail of Tears continues there, and hopefully indigenous people here in America and around the world can get their rights back. But it's a little separate from the cannabis story.
But it's a crossover. It's about the small guy that's in jail for nonviolence.
Yeah.
I mean, when I grew up, it was the punishment fits the crime. Are you joking?
Right. Well, you know, like with Jeff Mazansky and Tommy Chong, they were just charged with marijuana crimes. Like me. And but Peltier was actually convicted of murdering 2 FBI agents. But the people say he didn't do it.
Well, only he knows. I mean, he knows the whole story, you know, and it must be horrible to be in jail for something you knew you didn't do.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, what are the planet Earth? Think about the cosmic aspects of your movie. You know, The Green Goddess. Everybody go see The Green Goddess. Where can they see your movie?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You know, we might as well run a trailer of that too, since we're at it. So
Yeah, let's do that. But
now, it's available on Tubi. That's Tubi, Tubi, where you can watch it for free. It's got a couple little commercials in there, but it's heavy on special effects. The end of it's quite astounding. I'm an associate producer on it and have a minor part in the movie where I play Dr. Paul Stanford at the THCF medical clinics in London, England. So it's kind of interesting in that regard, and a little cameo at the end. But the scene where the main character Christian meets the Green Goddess is very psychedelic, and some of the people who worked on Avatar and worked on Titanic worked on this movie. And if it ever makes money, maybe we'll make some money off all that time we spent.
Well, let's look at a clip.
Okay, here's a clip for the Green Goddess.
Dr. Stanford, Riley and Soleil are here to see you.
I'll be right there.
So I hear you guys came all the way from Switzerland.
Yeah, we just landed actually.
Hello. Welcome. You must be Riley?
Yes.
And Soleil? Hi. Nice to meet you. Would you like to see our clinic?
I would love that.
Come on.
So, all of your treatments involve cannabis?
Yeah, we use cannabis for a wide variety of different ailments. Everything from cancer and glaucoma to multiple sclerosis and AIDS. It's remarkably effective for so many different things. Riley, you must have had menstrual cramps at some period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I recommend cannabis for those. You'd be amazed how well it works for that. Now, this is our vaporization room. We recommend vaporization instead of smoking, and I also recommend ingesting cannabis. For pain, spasms, seizures, and glaucoma, taking cannabis orally works better and is more effective than smoking or vaporization. This is our examination room. You want to go ahead and have a seat? So what did you think of our clinic?
Well, I love it. You know, I only wish there had been something like this for my brother.
Your brother, was he sick?
He died of AIDS last year.
I know that's got to be painful.
The only time I ever smoked weed was with him. Sometimes he had to smoke just to have any kind of appetite.
You know, I understand you're growing some outdoor organic. That's just what our patients need. We could take 10 kilos for $15,000. The quality's good.
I will definitely contact you at harvest time.
Sorry to bother you. Your 10 o'clock's waiting in your office.
Thanks, Steph. Well, folks, I know our patients are going to be looking forward to that harvest. Steph will show you out. Thanks.
So do you guys go back to Switzerland now?
Actually, we're on our way to Amsterdam.
Yeah, we have to make some connections there.
Then you guys have got to get in touch with Mila. She knows everybody and everything in Amsterdam. Come on, guys, I'll show you out.
Hello, Christian. Do you know why you're here?
To become enlightened?
Sweet answer. Yet why? Enlightenment is not the end, it's just the beginning.
Okay, it is available on Tubi. That's TUBI.com, or they want you to download the app, perhaps, on various media. But it's out there now, and
we watched it on my show 3 weeks in a row on my show Weeds Day, and which is happening today, by the way, everybody. and you can see it on my Facebook, Jeff Eichen.
This
And
is going to air on Friday, but tell us about Weed Wednesday.
Weeds Day is on episode 188 this week, and we have Women in Weed every third Weeds Day, and we have World 420 Day every fourth Weeds Day, and it's the same. We just interview. We have our Hollywood squares of people that come on. We have our normals and our regular. We have Rodimus Para, who was Grasshopper in the Kung Fu series back in the early whenevers, you know, and he's my co-producer for my relief project that I'll tell you about in a second, some more. And it's just really beautiful to have a show and where people can come. I normally have almost every show a new prisoner that has gotten out. So we're working on it, but it's too slow for us. We want to help to make awareness across the world. My parent company, POD TV, they show us on Roku, and they had over 2 million views last year. So everybody, it's time to make marijuana, cannabis, the medicine, the beautiful plant that we have, you know, in the mainstream.
Well, it's slowly but surely getting there. So, so you got plans, and hopefully we'll be able to show both our movies at NOCO.
Well, here's the poster, and here's Green Goddess, and here's Lifers. And so if we get Morris is in Spain right now at Cannabis.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Morris just went to Cannabis. So Morris said when he gets back, he'll give me the green light if it's possible, and I'll fly out there, or maybe I'll bring you out there. I mean, I'm not sure what my money looks like right now, but the idea is that we do it together, everybody, because together we can get 1 million people to march on the White House. You know, we don't talk about politics on these kinds of shows. We just want to change politics. We want to end prohibition. Jack Harris said hemp, hemp, hooray. And he said paper, fiber, fuel, medicine, and food. And why should anybody be in jail for something I did 10 minutes ago?
Uh-huh.
That's what Jack used to say.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us more about your work. You're up in Port.
I'm in Port Townsend, Washington, and I made my movie all the way from here. I met Tommy Chong at Hemp Fest. I work with Vivian. We had a core meeting last night from Hemp Fest, and we're hopefully going to have another Hemp Fest here, but we're just navigating out of COVID and everything. And Vivian gave the reins over to Eric Boone, and Eric Boone gave them back to Vivian. So we got our captain of the ship back and everything. And Hemp Fest is huge in Seattle for 30 years, 100,000 people. At Myrtle Park, and just celebrating, you know, the plant that we love so much. And so my project in Washington is going to go global, and I'm culminating my relief project that is going to be having its first fundraiser or fundraiser this weekend on Saturday here in my small town. We're inviting 20 people. We want to raise 10K so we can start to have production money. The next concert we're going to do, the next film festival is going to be in May with Green Goddess and Lifers the Movie at our local classic old theater, and tickets are $42. And we'll have everything live streamed, everybody, also. So if you go to relieffoundation.org, you can see all the links for donations, and you can also see all the links to watch our movies. And I'll throw your link up there also to watch Tubi.
All right. Well, thanks. So tell us more about your recent work here, Jeff. I'm searching for a question to ask you.
Well, I'm not shy at really being able to. My sister worked in Hollywood for years. I mean, these are the stories that make good TV. And I'm going to tell you the story that I had one of the ex-prisoners 3 days after he came out of jail on my show with his daughter, and his daughter and him were reunited kind of on my show, and there was tears. Everybody, Stephanie Lander was on. I think we had Tommy Chong on that day. Don't remember. And the tears were of joy that Papa Bear was home out of jail for a plan. And I told that to my sister. Like I said, my sister was a Emmy award-winning TV producer, and she worked with Woody Harrelson. So if you all know the show I'm talking about, that was my sister. But the idea here is that she told me, "Wow, that sounds great, bro," and she supports me. And she said, "That makes good TV when people cry and are emotional on live screen." So that's kind of a really beautiful story about why I do this, and sharing the awareness that marijuana should not be illegal anymore planetarily. I mean, Thailand used to kill people and now they don't, but they're reversing it again. They're tightening.
Not for certain, but it certainly seems like they're going to just revert back to just medical, but they won't be killing people again. Hey, I spoke,
yeah. They're acknowledging the plant. I mean, I don't know if Willie Nelson or somebody had the Bibles, the page in the Bible that said, all seeds come from, from spirit, so nobody should be in jail for a plant. I mean, look, come on, everybody. I mean, it's so important to, to just, and be wise when you use your strain. Don't drive, and be careful with your children. And but the animals, there's cannabis for animals too. There's hemp.
It's true. There are just those 100,000 different products that national popular mechanics talked about in the 1930s are finally coming to fruition. Tell
us about your bottle collection. Whether it's in your hands anymore. Donnie's got most of them in the Hemp Museum. But tell us about that, about the 1800s and the early 1900s, before pot was illegal. There was medicine, right?
Oh yeah, cannabis was used for medicine for thousands of years, and it goes back to the oldest written text, both in India and in China. They talk about cannabis for medicine, but all the major pharmaceutical companies had multiple cannabis-based medicines. Johnson and Johnson had several cannabis-based topical medicines. Eli Lilly, still in existence today, they had about 20 different cannabis medicines. Powdered extract of cannabis or powdered hashish or keef was one of those, and they had tinctures, they had fluid extracts, and then they combined cannabis with other compounds. Park Davis did the same thing. Park Davis had about 20 different cannabis-based medicines.
And you used to collect bottles?
Yeah, I still have a couple hundred bottles, but some of my nicest ones have been sold to Don Wirtschafter to finance my company's defense back in the 2016, 17, and 18. But
I saw the paperwork.
But
I saw the paperwork when I came to your office. There was a lot of paperwork.
Oh yeah. Well, they filed. Turned out to be financed by George Soros, kind of amazingly. I think it had to do with the Drug Policy Alliance kind of pushing us out of the way. And now the people who came in and stole my business are working with our medical records, 270,000 patient records with Altria Group, which are the owners of Marlboro Tobacco. And Altria put $1.8 billion into the company that stole our business. And now they have, Altria has also just bought for $700 million, a little bit more than that, a cannabis vapor medical pin company in Israel. So, and it was actually an Israeli natural gas company that Soros's people used to come in and take us out. And it's a long, complicated story. I won't go into any more of it right now. Kind of bums me out, but we keep plugging along here as best we can.
Well, that's the game. The game is to be resilient and to be the stewards of medicine and the plant to help it to. We have to release, what's one of my free the prisoners, free the plant, free the planet, and free yourself.
I like that. I like that.
So, well, thank you so much for this day. I have one more story. You want to hear a story about Jack?
Yeah, we have time.
Okay. So here's a story about Jack, everybody. Jack Herer, the father of cannabis. I don't have his book here, but I did. Jack Herer, he wrote the book Emperors Wear No Clothes. And Paul and I have some history with that one. And he was my buddy back in the day. We were on Wilshire Boulevard having hemp rallies. We would hold signs up, honk if you're hempy, and we would have music, and on the steps of the of their capital in LA. And so for years, one day, all the greats, Ed Rosenthal and Jack and Captain Ed, they had finished writing the initiative in 1995. I don't remember what it was, 105, 104, 103, 503, whatever it was. And they were going to be late the following day to get it put in. And there was, overnight mail wouldn't get it, and they couldn't email it because maybe there was no email at that time. But in 1995, Jack gave me out of the shower 300 $1 bills. And he said, "Fly, Jeffrey." And I had my khakis on and my alligator lacrosse shirt on. I was buttoned up, and I went to Sacramento, everybody, and I hand delivered the initiative that made marijuana begin the trail. And not sure if that one went through or whatever, but it was the beginning of opening the door and the beginning of opening the bars for our marijuana movement. So I took the initiative to Sacramento. And while I was there, I had my little Hemp Can Save the Planet button. Remember those?
Yes.
With the globe on it, and it says hemp will save the planet. And the lady that took the initiative from my hand, she was getting back in the elevator, and she said, "Oh, can I have that button?" And so she took my button that said hemp can save the planet. So that's my story. Jack giving me $301 bills, and I went to Southwest with $300 in the day, and got on the airplane and delivered what is now the movement initiative, because they were too stoned. They were all too stoned to get it in, And so people say, what is it like to be stoned? Well, you can watch my movie, and one of my friends says that it helped her with cancer and everything. She was afraid of smoking, and she thought it was going to put her in a trance for hours and never come out of it. And then after she smoked, before she drove her daughter to school, she felt an overwhelming feeling of joy, of happiness. And so everybody, marijuana is safer than alcohol.
Yes. So for our viewers, I will go through a little history here. Back in 1972, the first marijuana initiative made the ballot in the state of California. And a number of people that are still around today, Michael and Aldrich, and some have passed, like Jack and Captain Ed, and many other people worked on that. Of course, I was just 11 and 12 back then, so I didn't have anything to do with it. But come the 80s, I met Jack in his shop and his partner, Captain Ed, in 1982. And then both Jack and I moved to Oregon in 1984. And we put along with a lot of people, John Sajo being fellow who led the charge, and Greg Mahalik and Dr. Fred Orther and others were working on this initiative. We came in to help put it on the ballot on November 1st of 1985. There's a picture here with Jack and I in it, turning in signatures at the state capitol here in Oregon in 1985. It's still the earliest any initiatives ever qualified for the ballot in Oregon. No one else has turned in a petition more than a year in advance. But then lost that election in 1986. The whole federal government came down on our head. Ronald Reagan's wife, Nancy Reagan, toured the state for 3 days. The vice president at the time was Ronald Reagan, but the vice president was George H.W. Bush, and he came for 13 days and toured the state. He was the first drug czar for the Office of National Drug Control Policy in the White House. And so he came and opposed our initiative. In the end, we lost overwhelmingly with just 27% of the vote. That was the second time marijuana legalization was voted on in the United States. And then in 1996, California passed the first medical marijuana initiative. And in 98, Oregon, Washington, and Arizona passed it. The legislature in Arizona overturned it. They had to pass it 3 times before it actually went into effect. But that is the story in a nutshell. We actually made cannabis legal with the initiative in Washington and Colorado in 2012. That time I was the spokesperson for the initiative here in Oregon, Ballot Measure 80. In fact, I am now in the office of what was Ballot Measure 80's petition headquarters. But we lost over with about 47% of the vote in 2012 in Oregon, when Washington and Colorado both passed at about 54%. But we came back in 2014 and legalized it here in Oregon and in Alaska. So that's the history in a nutshell.
That's fantastic. That's what I mean. It's just such a blessing. Don't you agree that we're standing up for our mama plant and before our eyes, watching it unfold?
Yeah, it's like Jack said many times, but even in his very last speech, Jack gave his last speech at our Hemp Stock Festival here in Oregon in September of 2009. And he went backstage after that and had a massive heart attack and never recovered and passed on a few months later. But he said, I don't know if marijuana will save the world, but it's the only thing really that can, in terms of, replacing deforestation with hemp building products, everything from hemp wood, which is a incredible product. Just look up hempwood.com.
That's what Larry Serban is doing. He's doing 4x8 sheets of hemp plywood.
Yeah, hempwood.com has been making hemp basic products. We show them here in our office. I first saw them in the Southern Hemp Expo in Raleigh, North Carolina back in 2020, another event that Morris Spiegel put on back then. And so I've seen them at the NOCO Hemp Conference since then. And then there's hemp plastic. There's hemp plastic that's made from the stems and cornstarch that's biodegradable. And there's hemp plastic made with hemp seed oil that's
hemp plastic right there, everybody.
Yeah, that's hemp seed oil plastic.
And when did Ford make a hemp car? I mean, come on.
Back in the 30s, it was a hemp flax body car. There's a video of Henry Ford swinging a sledgehammer at the car body and it bouncing off. Pretty fascinating. We've shown that on this show many times in the past.
And BMW is working with hemp right now too. They're doing some panels on their cars, and all the seats are hemp.
They have been making their interior panels out of hemp fiber supplied by hemp flax in the Netherlands for more than 10 years. And in fact, the currency in the European Union is also supplied by hemp flax. It's 70% hemp and 30% cotton. So if you hold a euro note in your hand, the money, then you're holding hemp. And most of the world's money is actually made out of 70% hemp, 30% cotton. And it used to be in the United States.
So
But
the
now,
money is the money is partial hemp. That's really amazing.
yeah, and half of all the cigarettes in America, the tobacco cigarettes, are rolled in hemp paper. So it's either hemp or flax paper that tobacco cigarettes are rolled in because it's non-toxic. It's against the law to use hemp for cigarette paper. Use wood for
There's
cigarette.
There's Wilfred hemp cigarettes right there.
Okay.
You know, that's Jason Gann and Wilfred. And remember him, everybody? He was the dog on Netflix that was smoking pot. So Jason Gann, we love you. And hemp tobacco I don't believe will give you cancer. So I rest my case. I rest my case.
Studies that were done by prohibitionists back in the 70s, they looked at hemp and tobacco and compared them and found that people who smoked marijuana were less likely to get cancer, lung cancer, than people who never smoked anything at all. And people who smoked tobacco and cannabis were less likely to get cancer than people who smoked just tobacco.
I love those statistics. That just means nobody should be in jail for a plant, everybody.
Well, that's the thing. The facts and the science have always been on our side. And so that's one of the things that motivated me to be an activist for ending marijuana prohibition.
Hey, well, it's been a pleasure to be on your show. I'm going to get ready for my show, which is in about 2.5 hours, everybody. Don't forget to...
Well, this is going to air on Friday. So
this show will air on Friday. Fantastic. So don't forget, everybody, to go to relieffoundation.org to see our live stream of our first episode, our first attempt at raising some money for the big concert. And come to the big concert at Oakland Coliseum with 42,000 people. I mean, when the lady told me at Oakland Coliseum it's 42,000, I said, how perfect is that for 420? You know, so everybody go to Tubi.com to see Paul's movie Green Goddess, my movies on lifersthemovie.com, and Hemp Hooray. I really love having relationship with this beautiful man, Paul, with Cannabis Commons. How many shows have you done?
I think this is show 1,174 or 75.
I taught my current girlfriend Kim to put her head in her hand and say "Oy vey," you know. So
October of 1996. So since October of 1996 on cable access television in Portland, and we've been on the internet. I think we started about show 340 on YouTube. The ones before that were in Real Player, but we're putting some of the older ones up still.
Let's see if we can monetize together and calm, have abundance. Everybody shake your buns. That's Swami Beyond Ananda, Steve Behrman, right? And he says, shake your buns, you'll have abundance.
Okay, I haven't heard that, but that's kind of cute.
You know Steve? You know Steve?
No, I don't.
Steve Behrman. Yeah, he's the Swami Beyond Ananda.
Okay.
You should have him on. He's totally cannabis friendly. Everybody, love you so much, and Paul, thank you for all the work you've done forever.
Very welcome. We've had Jeff Eichen, who has a podcast, Weed Wednesdays, on at noon Pacific time here in the Northwest. Adjust your clocks accordingly. And Lifers the Movie, and relief.org at relieffoundation.org.
That's it. Thank you so much, Paul. I can't wait to be on again, and there's more stories, and maybe we'll get to NOCO together.
Okay, I hope so. Hope to see you at the Emerald Cup down in August.
Well, yeah, for sure. We're gonna play your movie down there. We're gonna do that, and also you're welcome to come on today if you're free.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. We've had Jeff Eichen. Keep working to restore hemp. Good night.
Paper fiber fuel.
Okay, this is a song about us. Okay? We are many, and we are strong.
We are many, we are strong, and so many be so wrong. Giving in too many lies. Doesn't anybody really care why? Can it be that we are right? Can we be peaceful through this fight? All we really want to see is humanity set free. We're just one big family. Once united, we are free. Now's the time to make a stand. Do the best that each one can. We're just one big family. Once united, we are free. Now's the time to make a stand. Do the best that each one can. Once awakened, we will see the potential of infinity. And abundance will be the norm when we are finally through this storm. Can it be that we are right? Can we be peaceful through this fight? All we really want to see is humanity set free. Just one big family. Once united, we are free. Now's the time to make a stand. Do the best that each one can. That's right. We're just one big family. Once united,